Well, with me now is the former Cabinet Minister, Andrew Mitchell. How widespread do you think the unease is about the government's Gaza policy on the backbenches and indeed within the government itself?
Well, there's widespread unease about what is happening in Gaza and in Israel, and opinion differs. But in my view, having a politician come on and try and allocate blame, get behind one set of barricades or another, is unhelpful. What we have to do is to convert this ceasefire into a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, and then we have to get people talking. Those are the two key things which Britain, in my view, should be seeking to do.
But what are your old friends in the International Development Department and Foreign Office saying about the government's failure to take tougher action against Israel?
Well, in the International Development Department, of course, we are giving an enormous amount of humanitarian aid to try and alleviate...
Saeed Abbasi said you're patching up people who've been wounded by the weapons that we sell to Israel.
Well, I don't think she put it like that.
She put it pretty frankly.
But the point is, you asked me what we're doing. Britain is making an enormous contribution to humanitarian support in this desperate situation. One of the strongest supporters of UNRWA, who of course are in the front line in trying to help people who are in a desperate position in Gaza.
Why do you think David Cameron finds it so hard to describe Israel's actions as disproportionate?
Well, I think, as I say, that it's unhelpful for the government to take sides in this issue. What is important is to try and get people to focus on the need to convert the ceasefire into something permanent, which stops the carnage which is going on in Gaza, and also the rocket attacks against Israel. That's the most important thing. And then to build on that and to try and get people talking. This conflict will poison the well of opinion, not only in the current generation, but in the next generation, who are suffering so much from this.
There are those who say, though, that the refusal of the Prime Minister and other senior cabinet ministers to take tougher action against Israel is because they have pressure from the pro-Israeli lobby groups. Is that pressure that you've ever felt?
No, and I'm not sure at all that is the case. What is important is that we should do everything we can to ensure that weapons are not put into this situation, which is why I think it's right to look immediately at an arms embargo. But the truth is that Britain is not selling weapons to Israel at the moment, and I am in favour, as Israel seeks to guard its citizens against these rocket attacks from Hamas, I am in favour of Israel being sold technology which allows them to put a shield over their citizens and protect them from that.
But Britain does sell weapons to other countries which then sell on to Israel, doesn't it?
Well, there are very strict rules for export of weaponry from Britain, probably the strictest in the world. And as I say, at the moment, there is no British weaponry going to Israel.
What is the prospect, then, do you think, of an immediate arms embargo?
Well, I think we have to see, but as no weapons are being sold at the moment, it is not a critical factor. But I do think we should look at anything we can do to stop weapons reaching this struggle.
Well, you say weapons are not being sold, but I mean they have been sold in quite large quantities in very recent times. So
yeah, you're talking about an arms embargo now, which I think we should look at. I'm just pointing out that in practical terms, there are not weapons being sold by Britain to Israel at the moment.
Andrew Mitchell, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.